So again, welcome with packing Jeremy, Jeremy chapter 7, English part 2. So we all knew that it creates a problem of packing the shoes and that of course toothbrush. Of course I had to turn every mortal thing out now. Every mortal means extraordinary things. And of course I could not find it. I rummaged means search in a hurried or careless way the things up into much the same state that they must have been before the world was created. And he started struggling over there. He took out everything, started because the things that were extraordinary that he needed, and they have been before the world was created, according to him. And when Charles reigned, of course, I found George and Harry's 18 times over, but I couldn't find my own. I put the bag things back one by one and held everything up and shook it. Then I found it inside a boot. I repacked once more. So it was the story of the toothbrush. He unpacked everything, moved the things here and there. Even he shook his friend here and there 18 times or so. But later on, he found it that the toothbrush was where? It was in the boot. He was searching for the brush and the brush was in his boots. When I had finished, George asked if the soap was in. When he finished, again George asked, was the soap in? I said I didn't care a hang whether the soap was in or whether it wasn't. And I slammed the bag shut and strapped it and found that I had packed my spectacles in it and had to reopen. Again there was a problem. You know, friends are there. Ever they play mischief with us. So George also told, where is your soap? Then he, as he was irritated, let to go to hell the soap. Then he could remind, then he packed the bag again, stuck it. Again he thought by mistake he had kept his spectacles inside the bag. So in year 1, it got shut up finally at 10:05 p.m. And then there remained the hampers to do. Hampers means large basket for carrying food. Harry said that we should be wanting to start in less than 12 hours time, and thought that he and George had better to do rest. And I agreed and sat down and they had a go. Yes, he have to pack another things. Besides they have to travel. So the both of them friend told we are moving and he told okay, then he sat down. They began in a light-hearted spirit, evidently intending to show me how to do it. I made no comment. I only waited. And what happened? George and Harris, they were packing the hampers. He told, okay, I will sit, you both go through it. With the exception of George, Harris is the worst packer in the world. George is little bit good, but Harris was the worst packers in the world. And I looked at the piles of plates and cups and kettles and bottles and jars and pies and stoves and cakes and tomato etc. and felt that the thing would soon become existing. And how he was packing. He thought these all things will be inexisting. Now we can't see again because in such a rude way his friend was packing. It did. They started with breaking a cup and the time came. First of all, they broke the cup. That was the first thing they did. They did that just to show you what they could do and to get you interested. And why did they did so? To show that they are interested in packing too. Yeah, to make interest of Jerome. Then Harris packed the strawberry jam on top of a tomato, squashed it, and they had to pick out the tomato with a teaspoon. What happened? He pushed the jar of jam where tomatoes were there. And what happened? Tomato squashed it. And they have to take away that tomato squash with the spoon. And then it was George's turn. First of Harry's was there, now George. And he poured on the butter. The butter, he poured it. I didn't say anything, but I came over and sat on the edge of the table and watched them. Everything has fallen over here. You can just go to the picture. He poured out the butter. It irritated them more than anything I could have said. I felt it. It made them nervous and excited, and they stepped on things and put things behind them, and then couldn't find them when they wanted them. And they packed the pies at the bottom, sorry, and put heavy things on top and smashed the pies in. Now what happened? Due to these circumstances, they were ecstatic, confused. So whatever things they left behind, they forgot everything, and what happened at last? Pies, cakes, roti pie, all you are eating. They kept it at the bottom, and above them all, lots and lots of all things. The pie became roti, chapati became, and the pies were smashed. They upset salt over everything. And as for the butter, I never saw two men to do more with 1 and 2 pence worth of butter in my whole life than they did. After George had got it off his slipper, they tried to put it in kettle. It wouldn't go in, and what was, it wouldn't come out. They did scrape it out at last and put it down on a chair, and Harry sat on it, and it stuck to him. They went looking for it all over the room, and the condition of butter was tremendous. They pressed it to the kettle. It won't go. Again they kept on the chair. One of his friends sat on him, and then they were searching for the butter. And lots of butter they have wasted here and there. I will take my oath. I put it down on that chair, said George, staring at the empty seat. He told, "Oh, ridiculous job it is. I am oathing I won't do anything else." And he was going to sit on the empty chair. "I saw you do it myself not a minute ago," said Harris. "I saw you can do it," Harris told. "Do it. You can do it." Then they started round the room again looking for it, and then they met again in the center and stared at one another. "Most extraordinary thing I ever heard of," said George. "So mysterious," said Harris. They were searching for the things, roaming here and there, spoiling each and everything. At last they met in the middle and told, "Oh, it's so mysterious." Then George got round at the back of Harris and saw it. "Why, here it is all the time," he exclaimed indignantly. "Where?" cried, spinning round, Harris. "Stand still, can't you?" roared George, flying after him. As you know, butter was lying under George. Harris was just going here and there, searching. At last they go, "Where it is, please stand there, don't move." And they got it off and packed it in the teapot. And it was packed in the teapot. Montmorency was in it all, of course. Montmorency's ambition in life is to get in the way and be sworn at. If he can square him in anywhere, he particularly is not wanted, and be a perfect nuisance and make people mad and have things thrown at his head. He feels his day has not been wasted. Montmorency is a dog. Now the dog comes our fourth participant in the story. And what happens to him? Montmorency won it all cause. Montmorency ambition in life is to get in the way and be sworn at. And what was the ambition of the dog? Any time to come in between of the way. And if he can scream in anywhere where the particularly is not wanted, and he be a perfect nuisance. And whenever we don't want him, he will come there, and coming of the dog becomes a nuisance and make people mad and have things thrown at his head. Then he feels his day has not been wasted. And at last, whenever he is not beaten on the head, he won't go from there. That was the particular style of the dog Montmorency. To get somebody to stumble over him and cause him steadily for an hour is his highest aim and object. What is the aim and object of the dog? Any way they have to struck the dog. And unless it is struck, he won't be there. And when he has succeeded in accomplishing this, his conceit is his pride in himself, becomes quite unbearable. And unless we hit the dog and move him towards the other way, that becomes his pride. Oh, now it's good. He came and sat down on things just when they were wanted to be packed, and he labored under the fixed belief that whenever Harry's or George reached out their hand for anything, it was his cold dead nose that they wanted. He put his leg into the jam and he worried the teaspoon. And he pretended that the lemons were rats and got into hampers and killed. What happened? What the dog used to do? Run here and there, come in way, licking everything. He put his palm into the jar and then licked. And lemons for him were like rats. As lemon move here and there, he used to move here and there, jumping and dancing. 3 of them before Harry could land him with the frying pan. And then what happened? Harry took the frying pan and heated the dog. Harry said, I encouraged him. I did not encourage him. A dog like that doesn't want any encouragement. Harry told, I encouraged him. It didn't encourage him, but the dog is a particular type of that animal, and this is a particular dog. It's the natural origin sin that is born in him that makes him to do these things like that. It is his naturality. It is the naturality of the dog. He is a particular type of that dog. Unless he creates any trouble, he is not happy. So it was not Harry's to encourage the dog. The naturality of the dog is so. The packing was done at 12:15. And Harry sat on the big hamper and said the hoped nothing would be found broken. George said that if anything was broken, it was broken. Which reflection seems to comfort him. He also said he was ready for bed. We were all ready for bed. Harry was to sleep with us that night, and we went upstairs. At last, 12:50, everything was okay. They packed everything. Now all of them need to go to bed as they were going early at the morning for a trip. Do you prefer inside? We tossed for beds and Harry had to sleep with me, he said. Then they did tossing and Harry had to sleep with him. He said, do you prefer the inside or the outside, Jay? In bed also there created a problem that you want to be inside, outside. I said I generally prefer to sleep inside a bed. Harry said it was odd. George said, What time shall I wake you fellows? Harry said 7. I said, no 6 because I wanted to write some letters. Then it was just, we can say, missive with friends, each other. The waking time was 7. He told I want to wake up 6 because I want to write some letters. Harris and I had a bit of row over it, but at last paid the difference and said 6:30. Later it was decided that they will wake up at split means this means that they agreed on 6:30 because it was halfway between 6 and 7. At last it was decided. As you all friends are having the problem of wake up early in the morning, you are coming at a particular time, you are going 6 o'clock, no 7, no 8, okay 6:30, that was done. Wake us at 6:30, George, we said. George made no answer. We found on going over that he had been asleep for some time. So we placed the bath where he could tumble into it on getting out in the morning and went to bed ourselves. We thought he might be in sleeping, so they took bath and all of them went to the bed. So this was a particular very good story. If you all might have been in class in front of me, we could have enjoyed this story in our different ways. So my dear friends, this was a short, superb, very good story by Jerome. As we all are facing problem in packing, and especially when friends are packing, we all friends, this happened. This incidents I had observed many times. I have gone through it in my hostel life too, and this all were very precious incidents that I cannot groom it. But this type of life is a pleasant life. Packing is an art. Jerome had given us lots of things. It's a comedy type of lesson. But due to the certain circumstances, we all can't be with each other. Anyhow, enjoy yourself and God bless you. Thank you.